Welcome back to Life and Style. You know, it's Relationship Wednesday, and we're on the last segment today. Ask Pastor Chris. We have done Monday, the discussion with the men. We have had the ladies on retake. We have had Crystal Okusa on Style My Wife, Style My Hubby. And now we wind up, and you know, we go out. We've been going out to the young people. They're asking their questions. They've got so many questions out over there, which we've kept on asking and answering. And so on Ask Pastor Chris today, we back to Multimedia University, the CBD campus. We've been here before, and I cannot wait to get the questions from the students. Remember, if you want us to come to your college, your institution, your church, your youth group, whatever group that you have for young people, we would like to hear from you. Write us on lifeandstyle@standardmedia.co.ke. That's email lifeandstyle. The and is a symbol, lifeandstyle@standardmedia.co.ke. Follow us on social media platforms at KTN_Life_Style for both Instagram and Twitter. And for KTN Life and Style, that is on Facebook. 22840 is our text message number. The hashtag, if you've got your questions and you need to do that on Twitter, Facebook, the hashtag is KTN Life and Style. Now, I can't wait to get the questions from the students. How is everybody doing? You all right? So we're going straight into the questions. Are you ready today? Great. Let's have the first question.
I'm Leah.
Okay.
Okay, as a university student, it's most probably that you'll get a guy who's working or who's already made. And what is left for them,
made.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what is left for them is marriage. And
Okay.
the pressure for getting married to this person is very high. So what can you advise a student?
Okay. I think it depends on what stage you are in campus. Because I think when you come in as a first year, you mostly get students coming after you. They can't wait for first years to come in. When you have people who are in their third year or something, they just can't wait, you know. But when you are at a stage where you're about to get out of campus, if it still happens, that's what used to happen, you know, when you're getting to that stage of third year or something. So the third years and the fourth years have gone down to the first years. So you find that the ladies who are about to clear campus, they're beginning to also think about life outside of college. I think that there should never be the pressure to get married, even if you're getting into a relationship with somebody who's already working. There should never be the pressure. Why? Because the fact that they can provide does not mean that they will be a good husband to you. Somebody can be a good husband to somebody else and not to you. So there's still the thing of you need to know each other. Provision is just one thing. Paying bills, taking care of you, that's one aspect of it. Are you able to be friends? Do you share a vision? Are you trying to go the same direction in life, even if you're doing different things? Are you able to communicate and understand each other? Are you able to build friendship? Are you able to go through conflict? How do you relate with one another in terms of security? Do you trust one another? Do you have respect for one another? Those are things that you still need to spend time to get to know somebody about. And then again, you don't want to get married while you're still feeling lost about your own purpose. Because the man may have found his purpose, and then you are still trying to figure out what do you want to do. And he wants to bring you in, and you don't feel like that's what you want to do at that particular point. So you can stagger the relationship. And if they love you, they would stagger it. They would give you the time to find yourself. And then as you find yourself, you give yourself into the relationship. Because a relationship is something where two people come to give, not really to take. So if you don't even know what you have as a person, not money, not a job, not a career, as a person, if you don't know who you are, what you have, then you don't know what you're bringing into that relationship. And you will not be a very good partner to them. Not because you're not a good lady, but because you're trying to find yourself around. So they've got to allow that process. So I don't think that you must be under pressure. On the other hand, there are ladies who feel ready to get married immediately after college. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that is what they feel like they want to do, that's okay. If they're ready for the responsibilities, some of them feel like, you know, I want to clear college, I want to get married, and in the first year I want to have children, and I want to raise my children way before I'm 30. I want to have all the 4 children, and they should be growing so that I will be growing with them. That's again somebody's preference. But you never should feel the pressure that you must get married, and the other person must understand that. So you keep on talking and communicating.
My question, I'll start with an example, a short story, just maybe 2 lines. CJ met Jen. We used like CJ, okay, the guy meets a girl, then they have a relationship. With the relationship, when they break up, let's say they do their stuff now, when they're breaking up, the ladies find out the guy is good, and also the guy finds out. When they get back together, the relationship doesn't work again. But when they leave each other, they see, I left something good. So my question is, what's the difference between dating and courting?
I'm trying to connect the scenario you've given me and your question. Because the scenario you've given me would point me to asking what's happening with these two people. When they're together, they're in trouble. When they're apart, they're fine. That's a communication issue. Because if you can see the positive in this person, if you see they're good, and when you sit back, you know that they're good, and then they see the same. But when you come together, you're having issues. There is a breakdown in communication. And every communication has 4 parts to it. There is what I think or intend, then there is what I say. There is what the other person hears, and there is how they interpret. All those 4 components of the communication should come together so that my intention and my speech or whatever I write should still end up to be what the other person hears and interprets. So if my intention is not your interpretation, then there is a breakdown in communication. People will misunderstand each other, and that is where the conflict will come in. So in such a scenario, the people just need to work on their communication. Sometimes it is good to ask somebody, what do you mean by that? Never want to look like you know what they mean when you don't know what they mean. Then always look out for the pressure points, the conflict zones, and work around them. You just work around them. If you know that if I say something in this manner, this person gets offended, you can say the same thing in a different way. If you know that something is very dicey, it puts in a dicey situation with the other person, then you find other ways. If you know that you get angry or you get worked up a bit, then you probably want to slow down. I say that, and mostly with men. When they get upset, I say, man, you know what? You get upset, take a walk and then come back. If texting is making you get upset, say, look, we're not texting. Why don't we meet up so that we talk? Because sometimes when people are writing, whether it is email, even in business, sometimes the language and the tone in the written is tougher than when people meet in person. Because when they meet in person, you can see their body language and you can know what somebody means, or you can see the context within which they are speaking. So that's a scenario where there is a breakdown in communication. The verbal and the non-verbal communication should be very clear. Assumptions should not be used. And every communication should be to build a relationship. The people must value their relationship more than they do value their egos. That means that somebody must be able to say sorry, somebody must be able to say please, somebody must be able to say thank you, somebody must be able to say I did wrong, and the other person must be gracious enough to forgive. There's a lot of things that would come in that just to make it go well. Dating and courtship, those are words that are used relatively, but for most people's thinking, courtship is a serious commitment towards marriage, where two people have made up their minds that they want to get married, and so they're in the pre-marital period, knowing each other, growing towards that, trying to get a bit more deeper in the knowledge of each other so that they can work towards a serious relationship that is marriage. Whereas dating, for most people, would be, I want to meet you. I want to meet you. I want to be with you over coffee or over tea, and then we talk and we do that, then we go away, then we come back. And it may precede the courtship. It may take, in that context and that sense, it may take a few of dates before you can tell somebody that you want them to be part of your life. So some people perceive that the dating is a pre-courtship period where you're trying to check out whether this is really somebody you want to ask to be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or something.
I would like to know what's the difference between being in love with someone and infatuating with someone.
Jesus Christ. Well, with that, I think you have to define love then in order to tell the difference. So you've got to define love. And basically, my simplest definition of love is commitment. It's not a feeling. It's a commitment. Feelings are attached to the commitment that you make. in love, but it's more of a commitment. It's a commitment that I am going to be the best to this person and I'll bring out the best out of them. Because emotions are fickle. Today emotions ride high, tomorrow they go down. They ride high, tomorrow they go down. So if you rely only on the emotions, then you will feel like you are in love, out of love, in love, out of love. And sometimes it's mostly moods. And love is based on proper knowledge. That's why I say that it is a commitment. It is a choice. The second thing I would say about it, it's a choice that you make. And it is based on proper knowledge and evaluation, that I've been with you and I've seen your strength and your weakness, and I'm committing myself both to your good side and your bad side. Infatuation is when you are hooked to an idea, not a reality. When you're hooked to an idea of what you think the other person represents. And the problem with that is never based on knowledge. And you never have a realistic view of the other person. So your commitment to them is, number one, emotional. Number two, it is very unrealistic. Because you'll never even feel like they can get wrong or something, you know. So you're just caught up in this idea that you have in your head. But with love, it's a commitment. So I am with you. Good days, bad days, high days, low days, rough days, no matter what is happening. That commitment, that is what is called love.
My name is Sarah, and I have two questions.
All right.
The first question, is it wrong for a couple to live together before they are married? And then the second, I come from a Maasai community, okay, where when you reach a certain age, or even before you reach a certain age, you are supposed to get married. And even if you have not completed your goals, you're feeling that you still, there's something before you get to your destiny. Your parents might even force you to get married, and most probably to even someone who is older than you, much older than you. So tell me, if now I go back to my community and maybe such incidences occur, many of them, like December there were so many, what can I tell them? What can you tell parents who feel that their children can get married even before they reach what they want or before they get what they want? What can I tell them?
All right. I will start with the second question, because we have several realities around us. One is that we live in societies and communities. Yet again, as much as we live in societies and communities, we've got personal destinies also. So what happens in that case is that if you're not comfortable with the societal arrangement, then you're going to be in conflict with them. But as an adult, you're going to make certain decisions that are based on your own conviction. And certain of those decisions maybe, and when it comes to things like marriage, this is somebody you will live with, not them. So marriage is one of those things where you've got to be able to accept the decision, whether it is suggested to you or it is from somebody else. You know, there are those times where parents do arrange marriages, but the children don't mind that it has been arranged. That means that they have actively been involved in the decision making. It's just that they did not choose, but they accept the choice. But where it is imposed, there's a problem in that, because this person has got to live with the other person. And I think that it is important that you voice out the fact that you do not want to go a direction that you will walk out of. You don't want to do it, just like a career. You don't want to choose a career just because people expect you to take up that career, then you are not fulfilled. It is unfair to put somebody in a relationship where they're not fulfilled, because then their spouse will not have the best of them. They will always feel, I never wanted this in the first place. They will not give their 100%. They will always be thinking, maybe if I was elsewhere, if I was doing something else. So it is never fair. It's not fair to the lady that is being pushed into marriage. It's not fair to the man who is receiving this lady, because he's not receiving a wife, he's receiving a prisoner. And so he's got to be a prison guard all this while, you know, and that's not good. So to the parents, I will say, you know, allow your children to make decisions Allow your children to reason back with you. Allow them to make their choices. They will make their mistakes, but you see, even for the parents, they've made their own mistakes before, and they've learned out of their mistakes. I don't think that the bigger problem would be the age of the people who are getting married. It is the will of the people who are getting married. Because some people, out of choice, they would get married to somebody who's older. That's not really the problem. The problem is the will. Is the person getting married willing to get into that? Is it something that they would want to do? Is it a choice that they're making that they want to do and stay in the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years? If that's not the case, then it is not fair, either on them, on the person that is receiving the spouse. Somewhere then we've got to break the norms that are societal, certain things that don't make sense, certain cultural stuff got to break because they don't make sense now. Probably they did in the past for various reasons. In the past, maybe people would give out their daughters because they wanted to have connections to influential people, or they thought that by doing that, then they're going to preserve a pedigree, like I come from a high family and that is a high family, so if they come together, then the children born, we will preserve a certain kind of lineage. Those kind of thinkings, those are very backdated right now. They're very backward. You cannot guarantee that right now. We mostly operate nearly on equal pedestal because most people are exposed at the same time. Coming to your first question on whether it is right for couples to live together before they get married, I'll bring it from two perspectives. Because in one perspective, I am a pastor and a believer of the Bible. From that point, then I will say no. On the other side, then I will bring it from a cultural perspective. And the thing would be that if two people have found themselves living together, for whatever reasons, if they've found themselves living together, then they need to formalize that. They need to talk to their parents. They need to talk to their parents, their families, and they need to bring in witness into that. It is a no-no where people are just trying out. Where they're just trying out, where it is like, we stay together, see whether it is working out, then we jump out. That's a no-no. But if they've found themselves living together for whatever reason, by whatever means they got there, then they need to involve their parents, they need to involve their family so that they have a formal thing, have a certain level of commitment to one another in that. But the ideal situation would be to first of all come in through the parents and then get married on that day.
I'm Linda Stonik. I have 3 brief questions to ask. First is about best friends. Are we allowed to have best friends in a relationship? Because you find a scenario where a man will say, no, I don't like your best friends. And the lady will be like, no, I don't like your best friends. And also, the second question is about, is it good to be jealous in a relationship? And the third question is about being a Christian. Maybe you're in a choir member, or you're youth, and you want to date. Are we allowed to date? Or if we date, what limits are we supposed to have?
Let me start with the last one. Regardless of the fact that you're a Christian, you're a social being. Your Christianity is a spiritual thing, then you're a social being who has social needs, emotional needs, mental needs. That's why you are in school for your intellectual build up. You pray and read the word for your spiritual build up, but you relate with people for your emotional needs. So that doesn't stop you from meeting your emotional needs, getting to know people, socializing with them. But you have got to define your boundaries. Every relationship must be defined. Who is this person to you? Are they somebody who is just a friend? Are they somebody that you go out with because you're building each other? Probably you share certain goals and visions career-wise. Is it somebody that you're looking up to in something? Or are you trying to have a romantic relationship with them? You've got to define that. Once you define the relationship, you can define the boundaries. That becomes a bit more easy. Then when it comes to the issue of jealousy, that's a very natural thing. When you love somebody, that's a very natural thing. There will be the sense of you want to feel protective over them or you want to feel possessive over them. But you got to guard that it is not leading you to being paranoid, it's not getting you to act silly, but it would worry you, it should worry you if you love somebody and then you're not jealous. It should worry because it means that you don't feel like you want to own them. So jealousy is a natural, it's a normal and natural thing. It just should not get out of hand, and it should not make you do things that are crazy. The elements of best friends, it is important that the two people getting into a relationship understand that both of them still have had people in their lives. As long as those relationships don't interfere with this relationship, there is really no problem. There shouldn't be a problem. It's not supposed to be that when two people come together, then everybody lives their life, because eventually you still live, you work with different people, you go to school with different people. Right now you're in class with different people. You know, you can't cut off all relationships just because you have somebody in your life. But all these other people now must understand that there is certain levels they can't go, certain spaces they can't get into, certain ways they cannot talk to you, certain influences that they will not have over you. They should not be interfering with your relationship. It is good if they can be friends to both of you. If they cannot be friends to both of you, no problem with that. So you still have got to protect your relationship. And talk about it with your partner and keep on seeing why you need those people and why they need their people, you know. All right. Well, and that's all we have time for again today on Ask Pastor Chris Life and Style Relationship Wednesday. You know that you've got to keep on tweeting. You've got to keep on writing us. 22840 is our text message number. The hashtag is KTN Life and Style in case you still have a question that you want to ask, and we will reply you right there on Twitter. Remember our social media platforms at KTN Life_Style. That is for both Instagram and Twitter. KTN Life and Style for Facebook. You want to follow me also at CJ Atemo on Twitter. Tomorrow is Inspiration Thursday. So you keep it right here. On Friday, we have Feel Good Friday, but tomorrow, Inspiration Thursday, Catherine Wangi and Mary Mwikali and Tendai Balekwa will take you on 8 to 10 a.m. You want us to come to your college, to your school, to your institution, writers, Life and Style. The hand is a symbol, Life and Style, asanamedia.co.ke, and we will be right there to shoot Ask Pastor Chris. Have a lovely day and keep it Life and Style.